House Foreign Affairs, Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, it's great to have you on. What was your reaction to the president's speech last night?
Well, first of all, the president did mention Iran, but I think it was just a gesture. Iran is the problem. It is the entity that is looking for regional dominance in the Middle East, funded by China because of all the resources that China buys from Iran and because of the sanctions lifted by the Biden administration on exporting oil, and China, as the general or the colonel, I wasn't sure who you had on before, aptly said, look, China and Russia are opportunists. They're also utilitarian. They don't care about the morals of where they're getting their money and their power. So they are the global dominant adversary that we have in the world, and they don't mind using proxies like Iran. And I'm not saying directly, but Iran is the problem. They're able to fund Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, and these groups, and that's who the real enemy is here, and they're going to continue to fund them until the Biden administration recognizes how important Iran is in this mixture and how they have to stand up to them, as the Trump administration did under the great guidance of Secretary Pompeo, the maximum pressure campaign, instituting sanctions. A couple of days ago, sanctions, the snapback sanctions on their enrichment of nuclear uranium expired. And I wrote a letter with Josh Gottheimer, a Democrat in bipartisan way, to urge our European partners to join with us in instituting those sanctions, which would have continued to impede Iran and their ability to continue to wage this terror war in Israel.
Why is the Biden White House trying to appease Iran, which is the biggest state sponsor of terror? It doesn't want a two-state solution in Israel. It wants to wipe out Israel. That's Hamas's charter. So why is the Biden White House trying to appease terrorists? That's the criticism from generals and foreign policy pros we've talked to. What do you think?
I think it's inexplicable why they would be doing this and why they don't see it. It's so obvious. And all the work that President Trump did, including creating the Abraham Accords, making partnerships with regional players in the Middle East, who, by the way, wanted peace and prosperity for their people. We're in the middle of negotiating something to add Saudi Arabia to the Abraham Accords. Yes, they have their issues in the past, but now is time to look to the future of how we can provide that. All of the players, all of the Arab nations in the Middle East are concerned about the strength of Hamas and the disruption caused by Iran. So we have the Houthis that have been a huge problem, nagging the Saudis from the south, funded by Iran. They are disrupting this entire region. I think that the Biden administration, there's been a map drawn out for them. They need to follow the plan that was followed by President Trump under Secretary Pompeo and his great guidance. And I think that this probably could have been avoided, but here we are. We need to continue to recognize that. We need to starve Iran of resources that are given to them by China and other players.
Do you think the Democrat Party has a Hamas problem? Let's watch a top Democrat. You're going to hear him dodge questions on whether he will ask Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar to delete tweets attacking Israel. Watch this.
Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, they have tweets up saying that Israel is to blame for the hospital blast in Gaza. Those tweets have not yet been removed, despite U.S. intelligence, an assessment which shows it was a rocket misfire from a militant Palestinian group in the region. Do you think your Democratic colleagues should delete those tweets, and should they apologize?
I'm going to leave it all up to them. I do not pass judgment and that sort of thing.
Your reaction, Congresswoman?
Well, first of all, Rashida Tlaib has not denounced this false claim that Israel had something to do with the bombing of the hospital in Gaza. To her credit, Representative Ilhan Omar has done that and has stated that on Twitter. But in looking at the situation with Rashida Tlaib, yes, I think she should face at least censure and even potentially expulsion from the House for taking this kind of stand. And by the way, look, I don't like to do that. That's a strong thing to do. But they can very easily apologize. And yes, the Democrats do have a Hamas problem. Look what's happening on college campuses across this nation.
Congresswoman Tenney, thank you so much for joining us tonight.